Today we are going to study microbial invasion strategies. It means how microbes attack the body and how they are able to invade through the immune system of the host and eventually cause disease. आपने प्रीवियस लेक्चर में पढ़ा है कि जो होस्ट इम्यून सिस्टम है उसके बहुत सारे बैरियर्स हैं, फिजिकल बैरियर्स हैं, केमिकल बैरियर्स हैं। लास्ट में आपके पास एंटीबॉडीज आती हैं, इंटरफेरॉन्स आते हैं। These are all chemicals, these are all barriers which try to counteract microbial infection. But still, microbes are able to invade these barriers and cause the disease. Today we will be studying two or three mechanisms through which bacteria are able to invade the host tissues. One strategy would be colonization and other strategy would be adherence. We will study these two strategies in detail. So first of all, you must know what are the virulence factors, how some bacteria are virulent and cause disease, but on the other hand, some bacteria are beneficial, they are not harmful, and they do not cause any infection in the body. It means the harmful bacteria must be possessing some factors, some components through which they can cause disease. So we will study those factors in detail. Virulence factors are those factors through which bacteria or viruses are able to infect the host. These are molecules expressed and secreted by pathogens. Pathogens can be bacteria, viruses, fungi, and protozoa that enable them to achieve the following. So, through their molecules, they are able to achieve these things. They are able to colonize, means colonization of a niche in the host. Here niche means population. So they are able to make a population in the host. It means they are able to attach to the host cell through adhesion. Then immunoinvasion. It means they are able to cross the immune system barriers. First line of defense, then second line of defense, and then third line of defense are crossed by these bacteria through these virulence factors. Immunosuppression. Immunosuppression means they are able to suppress the immune system. So immune system is no longer active and is able to kill these bacteria, and they are able to do immunosuppression, inhibition of the host's immune response. They are also able into and out of the cells if the pathogen is intracellular. So some pathogens reside outside of the host cells, but some pathogens, for example viruses, they live inside the host cell. That is why they are called intracellular. So they should be able to enter into the cell, and they should be able to exit the cells. For example, if you remember the multiplication of viruses, how viruses multiplicate, first of all they attach to their specific receptors of the host cell. They are able to enter into the host cell. There they multiplicate, their genome is replicated, and there the virus particles are assembled, and eventually those particles are able to exit the host cell. And all these things can be performed by some virulence factors. They also are able to obtain nutrition from the host. So bacteria or viruses or any microbe, they are kind of parasites. That is, they live in the host, they are dependent on the host for their nutrition. Pathogens possess a wide array of virulence factors. Some are intrinsic to the bacteria. Intrinsic means naturally present in the bacteria. But the example of intrinsic or natural virulence factors is capsules and endotoxins. So capsules if you remember the structure of a bacteria, the capsule is the outermost layer of a bacteria, and some bacteria contain capsule, other do not contain any capsule. Those containing capsules are pathogenic bacteria, and capsule is a virulence factor. And capsule is naturally present in the bacteria. That is why we call we call this intrinsic factor. Some factors are obtained from plasmid. So if you remember, if you have studied conjugation, transduction, these are all the methods through which variety is obtained or diversity is obtained among the bacteria. If one bacteria is non-pathogenic, it can become pathogenic if through transduction or conjugation it is able to acquire those pathogenic genes. सो कहने का मकसद ये है कि कुछ बैक्टीरिया में ऑलरेडी पैथोजेनिक जीन्स होती है, कुछ में नहीं होती. जब ट्रांसडक्शन का या कॉन्जुगेशन का प्रोसेस होता है तो जीनोम ट्रांसफर होता है, जो प्लाज्मिड है ये ट्रांसफर होता है एक बैक्टीरिया से दूसरे बैक्टीरिया में, और दूसरा बैक्टीरिया ऑटोमेटिकली पैथोजेनिक हो जाता है. सो virulence factors perform all these functions: immunosuppression, colonization, entry and exit of the cell, nutrition, and also some possess some intrinsic factors like capsules and endotoxins. So other examples of virulence factors, for example, if we talk about Staphylococcus aureus, do you remember what kind of disease is caused by Staphylococcus aureus? ये मुझे चैट में बताएं. You must have studied diseases caused by these microbes, Staphylococcus aureus. So Staphylococcus aureus contains a large variety of virulence factors. It contains hyaluronidase enzyme, protease enzyme, coagulase enzyme, lipase, deoxyribonucleases, and enterotoxins. These are all virulence factors which are possessed by Staphylococcus aureus. You must remember protease, coagulase, lipase. ये एंजाइम इस बैक्टीरिया में प्रेजेंट होते हैं. दैट इज व्हाई ड्यू टू दिस एंजाइम दिस बैक्टीरिया इज एबल टू इन्वेड द होस्ट एंड कॉज डिजीज. किसी को याद नहीं आ रही कि कौन सी डिजीज कॉज होती है स्टेफिलोकोकस ऑरियस से? ओके जी. नेक्स्ट, सम एग्जांपल्स ऑफ विरुलेंस फैक्टर्स फॉर स्टेप्टोकोकस पायोजीन्स आर. स्टेप्टोकोकस पायोजीन्स कौन सी डिजीज कॉज करता है? The virulence factors for Staphylococcus pyogenes are M protein. This protein is present in the cell membrane of the bacteria, that is Staphylococcus pyogenes. Also, Staphylococcus pyogenes contain other virulence factors, that is lipoechoic acid. This is unique to Staphylococcus pyogenes, lipoechoic acid. Then it also contains hyaluronic acid capsule. Invasions such as streptokinase, hyaluronidase, and streptolysins and exotoxins. These are all strategies through which Streptococcus pyogenes is able to invade the host and cause disease. What are those strategies? There are some enzymes through which it can invade: streptokinase, hyaluronidase, इसका भी आप फंक्शन भी पढ़ेंगे आगे, and streptolysins. And streptopygenes also contain exotoxins. These are the invasions through which Streptococcus pyogenes invade the host. Then, when it enters the host, it also colonizes the host cells through some adhesion factors, some extracellular enzymes, toxins, and phagocytic factors. So, as you are well aware that phagocytotic cells are present in the which are the second line of defense. So these cells engulf the bacteria or other pathogens. But some bacteria contains anti-phagocytotic factors. It means they are not able to easily adjust by the host, engulfed by the host. So if it is not engulfed by the host, it can colonize and cause disease. आप लोगों दोनों को किसी को याद नहीं आ रहा कि स्टेप्टोकोकस ऑरियस कौन सी डिजीज कॉज करता है और स्टेप्टोकोकस पायोजिस कौन सी डिजीज कॉज करता है? चाहे आप मुझे एंड ऑफ द लेक्चर बताएं, लेकिन आज आपने बताना जरूर है. Then we should also know what type of infections are there and how these infections are different from one another. Number one kind of infection is communicable infection. Yes, सानिया ने जवाब दिया है, स्ट्रेप्टोकोकस पायोजेंस कॉजेस स्कारलेट फीवर. बिल्कुल ठीक. दूसरा भी आपने मुझे बताना है. ओके, सो इन्फेक्शंस की टाइप्स हैं. सबसे पहले टाइप ऑफ इन्फेक्शन हम कहते हैं कम्युनिकेबल इन्फेक्शन. एज द नेम इंडिकेट्स, this infection can be transmitted from one individual to another directly by contact or indirectly by fomites and vectors. Fomites की टर्म आपने याद रखनी है. Fomites means the clothes and furniture, जिस चीज़ के साथ भी आपका ये कॉन्टैक्ट हो, उससे भी आपको डिजीज कॉज हो सकती है. Fomites means डिजीज क्लोथ्स, जिसमें भी पहने होते हैं. और वेक्टर्स कौन से होते हैं? वेक्टर्स मीन्स सम इंसेक्ट्स. फॉर एग्जांपल मलेरिया का वेक्टर है प्लाज्मोडियम वाइवेक्स, एंड इसी तरह और लिशमेनिया का वेक्टर है एक. ये सारी डिजीजेज हैं, ये वेक्टर्स के थ्रू ट्रांसफर हो सकती हैं एक ऑर्गेनिज्म से एक होस्ट से दूसरे होस्ट में. यस, स्ट्रेप्टोकोकस ऑरियस कॉज निमोनिया. बिल्कुल ठीक है, ये भी सानिया ने रिप्लाई किया. So communicable infection transferred from one person to another directly or contact के थ्रू या इनडायरेक्टली कपड़ों के थ्रू या वेक्टर्स के थ्रू ट्रांसफर हो सकती है. फिर है एसिम्प्टोमेटिक इन्फेक्शन. ये टर्म आजकल आपने बहुत सी सुनी होगी कोरोना वायरस के केस में कि सम patients are asymptomatic. It means a disease is considered asymptomatic if a patient is a carrier. It means it contains the virus for the disease or infection but experiences no symptoms. That is why we call them asymptomatic. This infection is also called subclinical infection. इसको आप क्लिनिकली साइलेंट भी कहते हैं, इसके लिए अगर टर्म यूज होती सके. Colonization. Colonization occurs when any of or more species populate an area. It means कि जब एक बैक्टीरिया एंटर होता है बॉडी में, it is able to adhere to the cell lining of the host. जब वहाँ पे adhere होगा तो वो वहाँ पे multiplication होगी. It means उसकी population increase होगी. Not only that kind of bacteria but और 2 या 3 तरह के बैक्टीरिया भी उस पॉपुलेशन में आएंगे और पॉपुलेशन इंक्रीज होती जाती है. उसको हम कहते हैं कॉलोनाइजेशन. इट इज डिराइव्ड फ्रॉम द लैटिन colere, to inhabit. Inhabit means to live or cultivate, originally related to humans. Infections. The growth of parasitic organisms within the body is called infection. For example, bacteria. A person with an infection has another organism, for example, germ, growing within him, drawing its nutrition from that person. So, जितने भी pathogens हैं, they are also called parasites because they are dependent on the host for their nutrition. The asymptomatic, आपने पढ़ लिखी है जी, symptomatic infection. A disease is considered symptomatic if a patient is a carrier for a disease or infection and express symptoms. For example, fever. So, if, for example, किसी भी शख्स को कोई भी टीबी का बैक्टीरिया अटैक करे या कोई और उसको सिम्टम्स भी अपीयर हों, उसको हम कहेंगे सिम्प्टोमेटिक इन्फेक्शन. Then there is another term called pandemic infections. Pandemic is an epidemic of infectious disease that is spreading through human populations across a large region. For example, across the world. यहाँ पे जो example है वह HIV, but in the recent we have example of coronavirus, which is spread throughout the world. That is why that infection would be pandemic. Then there is another term similar to the pandemic is epidemic, An epidemic occurs when new cases of a certain disease in a given human population and during a given period, for example, dengue in Punjab. So, epidemic is localized in a certain area. For example, here, example is dengue, which was localized in Punjab. That is why it is called epidemic. Then another term is endemic infection. Endemic infection prevalent in or restricted to a particular region, community or group of people, for example, cholera. So endemic means there is a specific community in which this disease can be seen. An example is cholera. And the result of infection is there are two results. If someone is infected with a virus or a bacteria, one result could be carrier state, second result could be latent state. ये आपने बड़ी टर्म सुनी होगी, latent stage of a disease. इसकी देखेंगे डिटेल. What is latent stage? Carrier state. A carrier state occurs when someone has been exposed to a pathogen. So कोई भी पैथोजन जब आपको अटैक करेगा उसको हम कहेंगे कैरियर स्टेट. A person may live as a carrier for a pathogen and would never know it unless tested antibodies against the pathogen. So what are antibodies? These are proteins which are produced in the body whenever any kind of pathogen attack. So अगर कोई पैथोजन किसी ने अटैक किया है but there are no symptoms, still we can test the blood. If there are antibodies, it means the pathogen is present in the host. It lives in the host body and can be passed on to others without ever actually causing measurable harm to the host. So sometimes the immune system of a host is so strong that even the virus or bacteria is present in the body, it is not able to cause the disease. But still, disease can be transferred. The virus bacteria can be passed on to other persons. Then latent state. In a latent state, the virus is simply at rest. It means the virus is inactive stage. It is not multiplying. Person infected with the pathogen will show signs of the disease at some time in the individual life. Right? So if the person has been infected with the virus in young age, sometimes symptoms do not appear or the disease is not caused in the young age. But as the age is progressed, in the old age, the symptoms can be appeared. For example, I will give the example of HCV, hepatitis C virus. Sometimes when people are infected with HCV virus, they are not able to, mm, there is not kind of any disease, there are no symptoms. They are not aware that they have HCV virus. But as the time progresses, as they are getting older, their liver, because HCV attack the liver, then the liver starts deteriorating. Liver is damaged, and then when they get tested with the antibodies, they are positive with the disease. So it means the virus was in the latent state. It was not active, but at some stage it became active and caused the disease, complemented by the lytic or activate state of the pathogen disease. Sometimes it when it becomes active, it means it is in the lytic stage. If you remember, in the virus you have studied two stages. One is lysogenic, one is lytic. So lytic में क्या होता है? The cell is destroyed when virus is exit the cell. The host cell is destroyed, but in the lysogenic cycle, the host cell is not destroyed. So, what are those mechanisms by which bacteria cause pathogenesis? Two broad qualities of pathogenic bacteria underlie the means by which they cause disease. One is invasiveness, we will study, and the second one is toxigenesis. So, if they are able to invade the host cell, they can cause disease. If they have toxins, they can cause disease. So, these are two broad mechanisms through which bacteria or other microbes are able to cause disease. Invasiveness means it is the ability to invade the tissue. And ठीक है, मुझे और लोगों के भी रिप्लाई आ रहे हैं. अक्सा का आया है, जी बिल्कुल ठीक है, आपका आंसर ठीक है. So, invasiveness is the ability to invade tissues and encompasses and mechanisms for colonization. It includes mechanism for colonization, and colonization means adherence and initial multiplication. Then invasiveness means production of extracellular substances which facilitate invasions, and these extracellular substances are called invasions. So these are three ways through which any pathogen, any microbe can invade the host tissue. They are able to colonize through adherence and multiplication. They produce some extracellular substances which help them to invade the host cells or host tissues. Second strategy is toxigenesis. You have studied about toxins briefly in the first lecture, but in this lecture we will study in detail about the toxigenesis. Toxigenesis is the ability to produce toxins. Bacteria may produce two types of toxins called exo and endotoxins. Exotoxins, these are released from bacteria cells and may act at tissue sites removed from the site of bacterial growth. So these toxins are released outside of the cells. Then the other type is endotoxins. These are cell-associated substances. It means endotoxins is the part of the structure of the pathogen. But exotoxins are not part of the structure of the pathogen. They are released outside the bacterial cells. But endotoxins are associated substances released from growing bacterial cells and cells that are lysed as a result of effective host defense. For example, lysozyme. So, for example, you have studied that lysozyme is present in tears, and function of the lysozyme is to degrade proteins. And endotoxins are proteins. Lysozymes can degrade bacteria. When they degrade bacteria is dead, and upon its death, it releases endotoxins. Or endotoxins can be released through the activities of certain antibiotics, for example, penicillins and cephalosporins. These are antibiotics. These are used to kill the bacteria. When bacteria are killed, endotoxins can be released in the host cell. So how we can determine that a particular microbe is pathogen or not? These are 5 factors which determine either a microbe will cause disease or it will not cause the disease. First is transmission, second is adhesion, third is invasion and inflammation, fourth is toxin production, and fifth is immunopathogenesis. We will study these one by one. This is just a flow sheet diagram which shows how the bacteria invade the host and how it is eventually killed. First step is adhesion. It is the bacteria or the microbes are adhered to the host cell membrane. Second step is replication. When they adhere, they replicate and their population increases. Third step, they release some virulence factors. What are those virulence factors? They may be endotoxin, exotoxin, lipopolysaccharide, peptidoglycan, hemolysins, steprolysins. These are the virulence factors, and what is the result of these factors? The person will experience disease symptoms. Tissues can be injured, tissues can be damaged, and also when these virulence factors are released, our immune system becomes active, and when the immune system becomes active, it releases cytokines, interferons. Then when medicines are used, These antibiotics will eradicate the bacteria. So this is a overall picture how bacteria invade and how they are eventually killed by using antibiotics. First is the transmission. Specific bacterial species or strains within a species initiate infection after being transmitted by different routes to specific sites in the human body. So with there are many sources of the इन्फेक्शन. आपको इन्फेक्शन किसी पर्सन से हुई है, इन्फेक्शन फूड से हुई है, और वैसे ही एनवायरनमेंट से आपने बैक्टीरिया या वायरस इनहेल किया है. एनी सोर्सेज could be there for infection. When they get the microbe, the transmission occurs. Four major routes of transmission. The microbes can enter into the host through skin, through gastrointestinal tract, through respiratory tract, and genital tract. Skin means through cuts and wounds. So normally skin is a barrier, but when there are some cuts or injury, bacteria are able to enter into the host and cause disease. Second is gastrointestinal tract. It means by ingesting food and water, contaminated food and water. Third is respiratory, that airborne droplets. Four is genital tract, that is through sexual contact. So these are four ways through which microbes are able to enter into the host. Now transmission could be of two types. One is horizontal transmission. Second is vertical disease transmission. Horizontal means from one individual to another in the same generation. Appears in the same age group. Means from among the children, among adults, among old people. This is called horizontal disease transmission. Horizontal disease transmission can occur by either direct contact, from like physically contacting, or indirect contact, like if the droplets are present in the air through coughing or sneezing. Vectors or fomites. Vectors, again, those could be mosquitoes or other vectors which carry the virus. Fomites means clothing and other items that allow the transmission of a disease without physically contact. फिजिकल कॉन्टैक्ट भी है, इनडायरेक्ट एयर के थ्रू भी है, और थ्रू फोमाइट्स एंड वेक्टर्स भी है. दिस इज हॉरिजॉन्टल डिजीज. देन वर्टिकल डिजीज, पासिंग अ डिजीज कॉजिंग एजेंट वर्टिकली फ्रॉम पेरेंट टू ऑफस्प्रिंग, राइट. फॉर जैसे आपके पेरेंट्स को कोई डिजीज है और वही जेनेटिक डिजीज, मोस्टली द पेरेंट्स हैव एनी काइंड ऑफ जेनेटिक डिजीज, दैट disease can be passed on to the children. This is called vertical disease transmission from parents to the children. Perinatal transmission भी इसको कहते हैं. This is transmission through air. Droplets are present in the air. If one person, diseased person, coughs or sneeze, other person can get the virus or bacteria. First was invasiveness, next is the adherence. They are transmitted by adhering to the surfaces of the host. The process or condition of attachment, mechanism of adherence to cell or tissue surfaces are these following. One is non-specific adherence, second is specific adherence. In non-specific adherence, a reversible attachment of the bacterium to the eukaryotic surface. Sometimes this is called docking. It means reversible. It means once they are attached, they can be detached. This is called reversible attachment, and this is also called docking. Second is specific adherence. This is irreversible or permanent attachment. It means once these bacteria are adhered to the host membrane, they cannot be removed because they are there permanently adhered. This sometimes is called anchoring, right? Docking and anchoring. You must know the difference between specific and non-specific adherence. Possible interactions and forces involved are, so किस तरीके से बैक्टीरिया एडहेयर होते हैं किसी भी मेम्ब्रेन के साथ. इंटरेक्शंस होती हैं, डिफरेंट इंटरेक्शंस. दोज इंटरेक्शंस कुड बी हाइड्रोफोबिक. ये आपको आइडिया है हाइड्रोफोबिक वाटर रिपेलेंट होते हैं, देन इलेक्ट्रोस्टैटिक इंटरेक्शन, ये इलेक्ट्रोस्टैटिक इंटरेक्शन मीन्स आयनिक इंटरेक्शन। फिर और कौन सी पॉसिबल इंटरेक्शन हो सकती है? एटम एंड मॉलिक्यूल्स वाइब्रेशंस रिजल्टिंग फ्रॉम फ्लक्चुएटिंग डाइपोल्स ऑफ सिमिलर फ्रीक्वेंसीज। सो ये एटॉमिक एंड मॉलिक्यूलर लेवल पे भी adherence होती है। Brownian movement, this is a scientist who developed a movement which is called Brownian movement. आपको ये movement डिटेल में पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं, because that is more related to the physics. You just need to remember that Brownian movement can be involved in adherence of microbes to the host membrane. Then fifth is recruitment and trapping by biofilm polymers interacting with the bacterial glycocalyx or capsule. Here, some bacteria uses their glycocalyx or capsule to adhere into the host cell. ये बायोफिल्म बनाते हैं, ये आगे हम बायोफिल्म को डिटेल में भी पढ़ेंगे. So these are five types of interactions through which microbes can be adhered to a host surface. Hydrophobic है, electrostatic है, atomic molecular है, Brownian है, and by biofilm polymers. This is the diagram, hypothetical diagram showing how a bacteria can be adhered to the होस्ट सेल मेम्ब्रेन. यहाँ आपको बैक्टीरिया दिखाया गया, ये आपके पास होस्ट सेल मेम्ब्रेन है. होस्ट सेल मेम्ब्रेन के ऊपर कुछ रिसेप्टर्स हैं. These receptors are specific to the bacteria या वायरस. और बैक्टीरिया सेल के ऊपर adherence हैं. Then bacteria cells will be adhere to the host membrane through adherence. रिसेप्टर्स के साथ अटैच हो जाएंगी और बैक्टीरिया adhere हो जाएगा. फिर वो वहाँ पे मल्टीप्लिकेट करेगा और पॉपुलेशन इंक्रीज होगी. Specific adherence involves complementary chemical interaction between the host cell or tissue surface and the bacterial surface. In the language of medical microbiologists, a bacterial adherence attachment is covalent to a host receptor. अब ये जो interaction हो रही है ये covalent interactions है, so that the bacterium docks itself on the host. The adherence of the bacterial cells are chemical components of a capsule. ये capsules की components हैं adherence. और सेल वॉल या पिलाई और फिम्बरी हो सकती है. तो होस्ट रिसेप्टर्स आर यूजुअली ग्लाइकोप्रोटीन्स लोकेटेड ऑन द सेल मेम्ब्रेन और टिश्यू सरफेस. और जो होस्ट के ऊपर ये जो आपको हमने रिसेप्टर कहा है, रिसेप्टर्स आर एक्चुअली केमिकली ग्लाइकोप्रोटीन्स इन नेचर, एंड वेयर दे आर प्रेजेंट ऑन द cell membrane or the tissue surface. So bacterial adherents attach with the receptors through covalent interactions and adhere. Second strategy is the invasion and inflammation. The invasion of a host by a pathogen may be aided by the production of bacterial extracellular substances which act against the host by breaking down primary or secondary defense of the body. Medical microbiologists refer to these substances as invasions. So invasion का जो process है, कुछ ऐसे microbes हैं, they secrete some kind of chemicals, and what the function of those chemicals is to break down the first and second line defense of the host. Most invasions are proteins or enzymes that act locally to the damaged host cells or have the immediate effect of facilitating the growth and spread of the pathogen. The function of the invasions are two. First, that they damage the host cells. When they are attached to the host cell, they damage the host cells, and they can also facilitate the growth of and multiplication of that pathogen. The damage to the host as a result of this invasive activity may become part of the pathology of an infectious disease. So जैसे जैसे डैमेज होता जाएगा, डिजीज की पैथोलॉजिकल स्टेट जो है वो सामने आ जाएगी. Then they can inflammation, they can cause inflammation. Inflammation, we have studied this phenomena in very detail. This is the basic way in which the body reacts to infection, irritation, or other injury. The key feature being redness, warmth, swelling, and pain. This is a type of non-specific immune response. There are two types of bacteria which can cause inflammation. One kind is pyogenic inflammation. Second is granulomatous inflammation. Pyogenic inflammation means capable of generating pus सो जब भी ये इन्फेक्शन या इन्फ्लेमेशन होती है तो पस प्रोड्यूस होते हैं. पस द रिजल्ट ऑफ dead white blood cells. Neutrophils are predominant cells. Which bacteria are pyogenic? Staphylococcus, bowel bacteria. Bowel bacteria are present. Bowel bacteria cause bowel disease related to the intestine. These are the primary pyogenic organisms. The second type of inflammation is granulomatous, usually chronic. Chronic means it can persist थ्रू आउट लाइफ, यानी ये बहुत देर तक डिजीज रहती है. दैट इज वाई इसको हम क्रॉनिक कहते हैं. ये जो कुछ बैक्टीरिया क्रॉनिक इन्फेक्शन कॉज करते हैं एंड ड्यू टू दिस इन्फेक्शन so macrophages and T cells are predominant. Most important is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. This bacterium, as this causes disease, which is TB, this bacteria is able to form a kind of inflammation which is called granulomatous inflammation. The extracellular proteins produced by bacteria which promote their invasion are not clearly distinguished from some extracellular protein toxins, which also damage the host. So sometimes it is very difficult to differentiate between the toxins and the extracellular proteins, which are called invasins, जो enzymes भी हो सकते हैं. Usually act at a short range in immediate vicinity of the bacterial growth. ये जो इन्वेजन्स की बात करें, वाई हाउ दे आर डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द टॉक्सिन्स, बिकॉज ये बहुत शॉर्ट टाइम के लिए एक्ट करते हैं और बिल्कुल विसिनिटी मीन्स बहुत करीब बैक्टीरिया की ग्रोथ के करीब ही इन्वेजन्स जो है वो रिलीज होते हैं. मे नॉट एक्चुअली किल सेल्स as a part of their range activity. So toxins can kill the cells, but invasins cannot kill the cells. Exotoxins are often cytotoxic, means they damage the cells and may act as a remote sites removed from the site of bacterial growth. Also, exotoxins typically are more specific and more potent in their activity than invasins. ठीक है, आपने याद रखना है invasins are different from the exotoxins. Invasins जो होते हैं वो short range होते हैं and they cannot actually kill the bacteria and they act in the vicinity of the bacterial growth. But exotoxins are cytotoxic. It means they damage the cell. They can act from not only in the vicinity of the bacteria but remote sites. Means ऐसे sites जहाँ पे bacterial की growth. So we were studying the different invasion mechanisms of bacteria, how pathogens are able to invade the host cell. Some bacteria uses some extracellular substances जिसको हम invasons भी कहते हैं, but sometimes we are not able to differentiate invasions from the exotoxins. But there are certain characteristics of invasions which are different from exotoxins. Characteristics की characteristic तो ये है कि they have short range, means कि वो बिल्कुल करीब बैक्टीरिया के ग्रोथ के करीब जो सेल्स हैं वहाँ पे एक्ट करेंगे. और सेकेंड इज दे डू नॉट किल द बैक्टीरिया. लेकिन एक्सोटॉक्सिन्स जो है वो हमेशा सेल्स को किल करते हैं, साइटोटॉक्सिक होते हैं और उनकी जो रेंज है वो भी लॉन्ग रेंज होती है. मीन्स कि वो जहाँ इन्फेक्शन हो वहाँ से जो दूर तक सेल्स हैं उन तक भी उनकी इन्फेक्शन जो है स्प्रेड कर जाती है. ऑल्सो एक्सोटॉक्सिन्स आर typically more specific and more potent. Means more active, more dangerous in their activity than invasions. Even so, some classic exotoxins, for example, diphtheria toxin, anthrax toxins, may play some role in colonization or invasion in the early stages of an infection. And some invasions, for example, staphylococcal leukocidins, have relative specific cytopathic effect. So यहाँ पे इन्होंने दिखाया कि नॉट ऑलवेज जो कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स हमने बताई हैं एक्सोटॉक्सिन्स की और इन्वेजन्स की कि वो हमेशा उन कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स पे पूरा नहीं होते, देयर आर सम यूनिक एग्जांपल्स। यूनिक एग्जांपल्स किसकी हैं? समटाइम्स ये लाइक इन्वेजन जो है वो एक्ट करता है एज अ एक्सोटॉक्सिन, और एक्सोटॉक्सिन जो है वो समटाइम एक्ट करता है एज अ इन्वेजन। एग्जांपल हमारे पास डिप्थेरिया की है, तो जो कि टेटनस कॉज करता है, और एंथ्रेक्स की है। इनका जो टॉक्सिन है वो इन बैक्टीरिया की कॉलोनाइजेशन में हेल्प करता है, और इनकी एडहेरेंस में, इन्वेजन में हेल्प करता है। इसी तरह कुछ इन्वेजन ऐसे हैं जो कि एक्सोटॉक्सिन्स की तरह काम करते हैं।